Alright, hell yeah. So we have the quotient rule. And we're going to do something totally stupid. 2x squared, use the quotient rule. I don't even know how you do that. But because it was invented by this guy, Leibniz, we're going to give it a go. And then on his deathbed, his famous last words were, what's the quotient rule? So anyway, we're going to go over that because no one knows. Even the greatest math minds always have to kind of look this up. But, you know, in the title, what am I going to title this video? Bottom d top minus top d bottom, all divided by bottom squared. You know what I mean? So just kind of getting in the hang of that. And so how are we going to turn this into a quotient? Well, one, we can get the 2 downstairs. How do we even do that? I think we could do this. We could go 1 divided by 0.5 x squared. Okay, hell yeah. So we got something downstairs. And if we take a look at this, this is going to be x squared divided by 0.5. And check it out, we have a quotient. So if we want to take the derivative of this, again, let's keep saying it. So bottom d top minus top d bottom, all divided by the bottom squared. And it's the more you do this type of thing, you're just going to get more fluid with it. So if we take the bottom and the derivative of the top, that's going to be a half times 2x. Cool. Minus the top times the derivative of the bottom. And we know that the derivative of a constant 0, so that part of the equation just goes away. But we do have to take divide it by 0.5 squared. So sweet, we're going to be dividing by a quarter or multiplying by 4. Okay, hell yeah. So we're going to make it one step harder, and we're going to say, hey, this is, well, we're going to go this direction. We're going to say this is 2 to the 2 divided by 1 divided by x squared. So this is what we're going to take the derivative of. And I even put it in my calculator, just so you can see we have 2x squared, and then 2 divided by 1 divided by x squared. So we're just going to graph those, at least just make sure they're the same function. Alright, hell yeah. And so we're going to now take the derivative of this with respect to x. And we're going to use the quotient rule. And the cool thing about this is we're going to use the quotient rule twice. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to take the bottom. Cool, so we're going to do 1 divided by x squared, and then we're going to multiply this by the derivative of the top. Oh, okay, that's just going to be 0. And now we're going to take the top, that's going to be 2, and then we're going to take it, we're going to multiply it by the derivative of the bottom. Okay, well, this happens all the time in differentiating complex things, is we have to like hold the phone. Maybe I don't know how to differentiate 1 divided by x squared, and guess what? We have another quotient. So we have 1 divided by x squared. How would we take the derivative of this? Because here it says we have to take the derivative of the bottom. Okay, so we're going to do that same rule, bottom d top. So we're going to say x squared times derivative of the top is just 0 minus top d bottom. Cool. And now we got something easy. Hey, we could do that, what is it called? The power rule. So we're going to bring down the 2 and then make this x to the 2 minus 1. So this just becomes x to the 1 or just x. Hell yeah. And then we're going to have to divide it by, because it's a quotient rule, the bottom squared. So we're going to have x to the 4th down here. Okay, let's simplify the hell out of this. This is going to be negative 2x divided by x to the 4th. Okay. And we can see this is just going to be negative 2 divided by x to the 3rd, x cubed. So it's just like, holy hell, why are we getting so complicated just for this? I mean, it's because we want to learn the quotient rule, you know what I mean? Bottom d top minus top d bottom divided by the bottom squared. Alright, sweet. So let's go back to this original, because it's just like you lose your friggin' mind every time you have to like do a separate step. So what did we do? We took the bottom d top minus top d bottom. So we actually found the derivative of the bottom, you know what I mean? So it's right there, and so that's what we're going to multiply. So we got negative 2 divided by x cubed. And I can't wait to just make a mistake. But anyway, we're doing pretty good so far. So that was that part. Now we got to, so again, let's spell it out. Bottom d top minus top d bottom, all divided by the bottom squared. Hey, we can do that. So I'm just going to do this as a side. So if we square this, kind of the cool tricks in squaring is like, hey, whether you have a product of 1 times x squared, if you square this, hey, you can square the 1, you can and then square the x squared. So the same thing with a quotient. So we're going to do 1 squared divided by x squared squared. And so this is just 1 divided by x to the 4th. Sweet. And cool. And so I was just going to do that in my head, but we did that side. So where are we at? So we're squaring this bottom. That's going to be 1 divided by x to the 4th. Okay, let's simplify this. We know that dividing by a 1 divided by x to the 4th is the same thing as multiplying x to the 4th divided by 1. Or like I just say, like, hey, if you're dividing by this stays in the bottom, but this pops upstairs. So this x to the 4th goes upstairs. And so this negative sign cancels with that. So we're going to have 4 divided by x to the 3rd multiplied by x to the 4th. And cool, look what we get. We get 4x, and it's 4x to the 1. And that is going to be the derivative. And obviously using the power rule, this 2 comes down, makes a 4. And this subtract 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So we got 4x to the 1. And hell yeah, but this is such a cool way to learn the quotient rule. And not to make this video too long, but let's do the power rule. You know what I mean? It would be a dumb video to do the power rule on this one, but not really. So the power rule, so I'm sorry. What is it called? Is it the product rule? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Yeah, if we have a product of 2 things. We have 2, and then we have a product of x squared. And so this is really a lot simpler to memorize than this thing. So the product rule says the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. And you're adding them, so it really doesn't matter what order you do it in. You don't divide by anything. So hell yeah, let's do it in order though. So we're going to take the derivative of this, dx, and finish this video. So the first times the derivative of the second. And we're just going to use the power rule on this. We're just going to say this is 2x plus the second, which is x squared, times the derivative of the first. See, I was spooked out. I was just like, well, we already have it right here, don't we? And I was just like, why are we adding something else? But I was just like, oh, yeah, no duh. The derivative of a constant is 0. And so this term drops out, and we easily see we have 4x. But that's taking a super simple equation and turning it into the quotient rule. So why we do this is like anytime, you know what I mean? I guess the analogy is like when I have when I'm doing kinematics and I say acceleration, which is dv dt, is like 9.8. 9.8 what? You know what I mean? I can say it's 9.8 t to the 0. So then when I integrate, you know what I mean? I can just add things that are, you know what I mean? So that's, I don't know if that's, and I can say this is x to the 0. I can say it's anything to the velocity to the 0. These are all 1. And so that's synonymous, not really, but with taking something that you've just done one way, I guess just do it a different way. And here would be the most complicated way to do it. Use the quotient rule. So that's what we did. And we, you know what I mean? I guess let's just say it. So bottom d top minus top d bottom divided by the bottom squared. So thanks for joining me, and that's a video.